I was 5. It was my dad's birthday. Only child, dad's birthday, 5 years old. It was the first time I remember being conscious of wanting to give my dad something that was just from me, you know? I mean, really, just from me. Not from my mom, with, like, my name on it, but from me. I was obsessed, which is how I get when I really care about something. And I really cared because Dad was, well, my hero. He was big and strong, 5'8", with tattoos. Okay, so he was a cocky little scrapper and almost too young to be a dad, but he had a heart for what he believed in, and he believed in me and Mom, so he was big. Anyway, it was his birthday, and I was trying to figure out what to get him. What do you get a hero? I didn't have money, and I wasn't allowed to cross the street, so unless they moved the mall to our block, to our side of the street, and started giving out free stuff, I was not going to be buying him anything. I could have asked Mom for help, but that would have been cheating. I had to do this myself. So I was out in the backyard looking up at one of the 6 big apple trees my dad had planted 2 or 3 years before. They were huge, 4 or 5 feet tall with tattoos. My work. Okay, so they were cocky little scrappers and almost too young to be apple trees, but they actually did produce fruit. Sorta. A couple years later, I understood that these tough little apples, which looked more like oversized cherries, were the first efforts of trees that were still learning how to make fruit. But at age 5, I thought they were perfect. Even the ones that had fallen to the ground and turned squishy and collected interesting tenants. That was it! I would give my dad apples for his birthday. So I gathered up all the apples I could, which was all the ones that were on the ground. But hey, they were clearly just as nice as the ones in the tree. After collecting all the apples I could carry in 6 t-shirt-filled trips, I went in and began rummaging around in a closet. Couldn't reach the upper shelves, but there in the corner was a big, floppy, square box that Dad's buddy Ray had given him with a thing Mom called a white elephant in it. It was the kind of guy gift that comes without any wrapping paper and has a plastic knot that looks vaguely like a bow. There was a card that said, "Eat dust, muchacho." I still don't know what it means, but it was a card, a real birthday card. So I crossed out "To Bill" and wrote "To Dub" on the envelope. Then I crossed out "Eat Dust" and wrote "I love you." That evening, Dad came home to a very special gift. I brought the bulging box in and put it on the dinner table. Mom had immediately placed several newspapers underneath it. Dad opened the card, smiling so hard all the little end-of-the-day stubbies were threatening to jump off his face. Then he very carefully chose and ate an apple. And he smiled and laughed. And his eyes got red like when he was mowing the lawn. And he said it was the greatest gift he ever got. Of course. But I believed him. They were beautiful apples. A few years later, I thought back on the first present I ever gave my dad and laughed. I realized then that everything I'd given him already belonged to him. Not just the mushy, wormy apples, but the card, the envelope, even the box I put them in. Except for what I wrote on the card. That was mine to give. And I'm pretty sure it's why I like the gift so much. It definitely wasn't the apples.